Most people wait for the moment they feel ready. They wait for inspiration. They wait for the mood to arrive. But discipline does not wait. Growth does not wait. And life certainly does not wait. When you train the body, you sweat. When you train the mind, you suffer discomfort. When you train the spirit, you face truths you don't want to see. All three require one thing: the willingness to do what sucks. Why? Because what sucks is the doorway to strength. The ice bath is cold. The early morning is dark. The last push-up burns. The difficult conversation hurts. The thing you fear doing is exactly the thing that will free you. When I was a young monk, my master told me, if you only train when it feels good, you will remain weak forever. It is like a tree that only wants sunshine, but refuses the rain. Soon it will wither. Doing what sucks is not punishment. It is a choice to sharpen yourself. It is stepping into the fire to be forged into steel. So the next time you feel resistance, when you want to avoid, delay, or escape, smile. Because you have found the exact place you need to be. Step forward and do what sucks. When we are children, discomfort is natural. We fall when learning to walk. We stumble when learning to run. We scrape our knees when climbing too high. We do not yet fear the sting of failure because we do not know it well enough. But as we grow older, something changes. We start avoiding the moments that bring us pain. We call them failures, setbacks, or bad experiences. We start believing that the good life is the one without friction. And yet it is the opposite that is true. Think of your muscles. A muscle only grows when it is placed under stress, when tiny fibers are torn so they can rebuild stronger. Without resistance, the muscle has no reason to adapt. The body is efficient. It only changes when the current strength is not enough for the task at hand. So if you lift only what is light, you remain as you are. If you avoid the strain, you avoid the growth. This law is not limited to the body. It is the same with your mind. A mind that is never challenged will remain fragile. A mind that never sits with complexity will retreat when life becomes unclear. The first time you face confusion or uncertainty, you will be paralyzed, unless you have trained yourself to breathe inside discomfort. Look at nature. A seed cannot become a tree without breaking apart in darkness beneath the soil. The caterpillar must endure the still, confining cocoon to become a butterfly. Even the diamond is formed through pressure and heat that would destroy weaker stones. Discomfort is not the enemy. It is the environment where transformation takes place. The reason most people never reach their full potential is simple. They confuse discomfort with danger. They feel the burning in their muscles and think they should stop. They feel the anxiety of speaking in front of others and believe they should avoid it. But growth is often disguised as the very thing you wish to run from. When you step into discomfort, you teach your body and mind a different truth. You teach yourself that you can endure more than you imagined. You discover that what once seemed unbearable becomes manageable and then becomes easy. The boundary of what you can handle expands. Think of the martial artist. At first, every movement feels awkward, every stance unsteady. The legs ache, the back burns, the mind wants to quit. But over time, the same movements that once exhausted you become effortless. The pain you felt at the beginning was not a signal to stop. It was the beginning of mastery. We live in an age where comfort is always within reach. The temperature is controlled. The food is delivered. The entertainment is endless. It is easy to spend entire days without facing anything truly challenging. But when life inevitably delivers hardship, a loss, a setback, a change you did not choose, comfort will not prepare you. Only discomfort will. The paradox is this: the more you willingly face discomfort, the less suffering you feel when life forces it upon you. By choosing difficulty in training, you become calm in chaos. By stepping into the cold, you no longer fear the winter. By embracing the climb, you no longer dread the mountain. So if you want to grow, truly grow, stop searching for the easiest way. Instead, search for the honest way. The way that tests you, the way that demands more from you than you think you have. Because every moment you spend in discomfort is a moment your future self is being forged. Most people make decisions based on how they feel in the moment. If they are motivated, they act. If they are tired, they rest. If they are uninspired, they do nothing. But moods are like the weather, they change without warning. If your actions depend on them, your life will drift without direction. Discipline is different. Discipline does not ask, do I feel like it? Discipline says, this is what must be done. It is the quiet, steady force that moves you forward, whether the sky is clear or the storm is raging. It does not depend on your energy, your mood, or your excitement. It depends on your decision, a decision you made long before the moment arrived. When you train in martial arts, there are days when every movement feels heavy. Your legs ache, your lungs burn, your mind tells you to stay in bed. But you go to training anyway. Not because you feel like it, but because you have decided that this is who you are, a person who shows up. And over time, this habit becomes unshakable. You no longer need motivation to begin. Beginning becomes natural. The problem with relying on mood is that it keeps you trapped in cycles. You start something when you're inspired, you stop when the feeling fades, you restart again when inspiration returns. This creates progress that is always temporary. You may get small bursts of improvement, but never the deep transformation that comes from consistency. It's like watering a plant only when you remember. It will survive for a while, but it will never thrive. Discipline is the opposite. It feeds the roots every single day, even when nothing seems to be growing above the surface. You trust the process, not the immediate result. You show up for the workout, for the study session, for the practice. Not because it is exciting, but because it is essential. Over time, you realize that discipline is more powerful than any burst of motivation. In the temple, my master once said to me, motivation is like fire. Discipline is like the sun. Fire flares brightly but burns out quickly if you do not feed it. The sun rises every day without fail, whether you notice it or not. It does not care if the sky is cloudy, it simply fulfills its purpose. This is the way of discipline. There is a deeper benefit to discipline that people rarely see: freedom. It sounds strange, because discipline appears restrictive. But when you have discipline, you are free from the chaos of indecision. You are no longer ruled by the fluctuation of your emotions. You do not waste energy asking yourself, should I do this today? You simply do it, and save your strength for the doing. In this way, discipline becomes a form of self-respect. You keep the promises you make to yourself. You no longer abandon your goals when they become inconvenient. You build trust in your own word, and that trust becomes a foundation for everything else in your life. Moods come and go. Motivation rises and falls. But discipline remains. And when discipline becomes your default, nothing, not exhaustion, not fear, not boredom, can keep you from moving forward. The human mind is designed to protect you from discomfort. It whispers, take the easier road. It points you toward the familiar, the predictable, the safe. This instinct kept our ancestors alive. But in today's world, it often keeps us small. The easy road offers comfort, but rarely transformation. When you only choose the easy, you never truly meet yourself. You never see how far you can go, because you never step far enough to test your limits. It's like staying in the shallow water, afraid of the depth. You will never learn to swim that way. You will only learn to wade. And when the storm comes, the shallow water will not protect you. Facing the hard is not about chasing pain for its own sake. It is about walking directly into the challenges that make you want to turn away. It is looking at the conversation you've been avoiding and having it anyway. It is picking up the heavy weight instead of the comfortable one. It is saying yes to the path that forces you to stretch beyond your current abilities. In training, the hard path might mean attempting the stance that burns your legs within seconds. It might mean practicing the same movement hundreds of times, not because it is fun, but because it must be perfected. In life, it might mean waking up earlier than anyone else, studying longer than you want, or working on the skill no one else sees value in yet. The hard path is often quiet, unseen by others, and unrewarded in the moment, but it is the road that changes you the most. The easy path makes you feel good now. The hard path makes you feel strong later. The easy path feeds the ego. The hard path feeds the soul. One reason we avoid the hard is because it exposes our weaknesses. When we attempt something difficult, we risk failure. We might look foolish. We might feel unprepared. But understand this, those moments of exposure are the most valuable moments of all. They reveal exactly where you must grow. The hard path holds a mirror to your limitations and invites you to shatter them. A monk once told me, "The obstacle is not in the way, the obstacle is the way." Every time you face something hard, you stand at the entrance to a gate. Most turn around. A few step through. And those who step through discover that the gate was not guarding the difficulty, it was guarding the person they were meant to become. Choosing the hard path does not mean abandoning wisdom. It means choosing the challenge that aligns with your purpose, not with your comfort. It means asking which choice will grow me, rather than which choice will be easiest. Over time, this mindset becomes a habit. And once it is a habit, you will no longer fear difficulty. You will seek it knowing it is the fastest way forward. When you face the hard, something unexpected happens. The hard becomes less hard. The once impossible task becomes routine. The once intimidating obstacle becomes familiar. This is how warriors are forged, not by avoiding difficulty, but by stepping into it until it loses its power over them. In the modern world, we are obsessed with results. We celebrate the finished painting, not the hours of sketching. We admire the black belt, not the years of white belt training. We praise the champion, not the mornings when they trained in silence before anyone else awoke. But the truth is this: the outcome is only the shadow. The process is the real substance. When you focus only on the outcome, every step feels like an obstacle in the way. You wake up in the morning thinking of the result, and when it does not appear immediately, frustration takes over. You look for shortcuts. You abandon the method. You start chasing the next quick win. But mastery does not come to those who rush. It comes to those who are willing to live inside the process, day after day, without needing the reward to arrive quickly. In the temple, my master taught us that the form, the kata, the sequence is not just a drill, it is a mirror. It shows you where you are slow, where your breath is shallow, where your mind is distracted. The beginner thinks, when will I finish learning this form? The master thinks, how deeply can I refine this form? The process is never a barrier to the outcome. The process is the outcome. When you embrace the process, you begin to love the repetition others find boring. You find satisfaction in the small improvements that only you notice. You stop measuring success by how far you still have to go, and start measuring it by how deeply you are engaged in the present moment. A runner who loves the training will keep running long after the race is over. A craftsman who loves the work will keep building even when no one is watching. This is the secret of enduring success. The process becomes its own reward. There is also a quiet strength that grows when you give yourself fully to the process. You stop fearing delays because you no longer see them as delays. You stop fearing failure because every failure becomes part of the training. You stop chasing the applause because the satisfaction is already in the doing. This is why the masters seem calm even in moments of uncertainty. They are not living for one perfect moment in the future. They are living perfectly inside each moment of the present. When you commit to the process, you also commit to patience. The seed does not demand to be a tree tomorrow. The river does not demand to carve the canyon in a single day. They move forward steadily, faithfully, trusting the work they do each moment, and in time, without hurry, the transformation appears. But even then, the seed keeps growing. The river keeps flowing. Because the process never truly ends, it only deepens. Every day there is something you know you should do, and yet you avoid it. It might be a workout you promised yourself, a conversation you need to have, a piece of work you have been delaying for weeks. When you think of it, you feel tension in your chest, heaviness in your limbs. This feeling is resistance. Most see resistance as a signal to turn away. But for the one who seeks mastery, resistance is a signal to go forward. Resistance exists because the task matters. If it did not matter, it would be easy to do. The fact that you hesitate means the action will require energy, willpower, and possibly transformation. It means the action will demand more from you than you currently find comfortable. And that is exactly why it should be done. If you can learn to see resistance not as an enemy but as a compass pointing you toward growth, you will never be confused about your next step. In training, resistance shows itself in many ways. The burning sensation in your legs during a stance, the mental fatigue after hours of repetition, the temptation to skip the last round of practice. But these are not barriers, they are invitations. They are the body sips and mind sips way of saying, this is where the change happens, this is where you cross the threshold. If you stop here, you stay the same. If you step through, you become something more. Life works the same way. The resistance you feel towards starting a business, writing your book, speaking up in the meeting, it is not proof you are unready. It is proof you are standing at the edge of your current self. On the other side of resistance is the version of you that is stronger, clearer, and more capable. But you cannot meet that version unless you walk directly into the thing you resist. Avoidance keeps you in a loop. Facing it breaks the loop. The master in the temple once told me, when you feel the most resistance, you are closest to the treasure. It is like walking through a forest. The thicker the thorns, the closer you are to the hidden clearing. Most people turn back when the path becomes difficult to walk. But those who understand the compass of resistance know that this is the moment to keep moving forward. The discomfort is not a warning to stop. It is confirmation that you are heading in the right direction. The beauty of using resistance as a compass is that it simplifies life. No more endless searching for the perfect path or waiting for the right time. You simply notice where the tension rises, where the fear speaks, where the avoidance grows, and that is where you go. With each step into resistance, your capacity grows. And the things that once felt impossible become the things you now do with ease. So, why do what sucks? Because comfort keeps you the same. Because resistance is a signpost, not a stop sign. Because every time you choose the harder path, you carve away the weaker version of yourself. The training is not meant to be pleasant. The cold water, the heavy weight, the difficult choice, they are all tools. They are chisels, cutting away your hesitation. They are hammers, forging your spirit. They are fires, burning away what no longer serves you. When the world is easy, anyone can act. When the world is hard, only the trained will stand. And training happens now, not when you feel ready, not when conditions are perfect, not when you have time. It happens today. It happens in the moments you would rather turn away. So, when you wake up tomorrow and you meet that moment, the run you don't that want to take, the work you don't that want to start, the truth you don't that want to face, don't wait for motivation. Don't stay, wait for the mood. Don't stay, wait for the easy option. Step forward. Step into it. Do what sucks. And watch who you become.